Good morning, my friends. It's another Monday on our Thriving Through Collaboration series, and my name is Skyla Mann. I am a Young Living Diamond from Central Iowa, and I am so glad that there's a bunch of diamonds that are coming together and making some really fun education happen during this bizarre pandemic time. We have a really fun topic today. It's all about the power of recognition and how this can impact your business, your life, your family, everything, truly. So in the chat box, I would love for anybody that is able to share, I would love for you to tell us one example of a time that you were recognized that made you feel really good. Has that happened? And if so, what was it for? Or just give us a little bit of a picture there. And while you are sharing some of those stories, I want to kind of catch you up on how I arrived at this place, and how I have come to put so much value on the power of recognition, because I actually think it's one of the cornerstones of my success, and really a lot of people in Young Living, I think, that do it well in leadership have got this figured out. We have talked in our Thriving Through Collaboration series, we've talked a number of times about when you meet with a prospect, it is always preferential to try to make it about them. Ask them questions, right? About what are your health goals, or how can I help you, or what kinds of things are you looking for? When we take the emphasis off of us and we put it on to the prospective member, clearly that shows them that our heart is in the right place. And along the same lines as that, I feel like once you have a growing team, when we take the focus off of ourselves and we put it on our members, and we really empathize with where they are at, and we help them grow to the next place that they want to go, I honestly believe that that is the magic in helping people believe in themselves. So I want to take you back very briefly to the beginning of the year in 2017. And at that time, I was working with a group of my team members, almost more so as friends, but they were all part of one leg. And we started dreaming about having a retreat. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so fun. I had never planned a retreat. And so we just started thinking about all the cool things that could happen. And about the same time, I was following a guy's podcast and his posts. His name was Mark Hinson. And I had just finished reading this book. And this book is called Ordinary Superpowers. And at first I thought, oh, that sounds really cheesy, except that some of you know this, some of you may not. The name that we chose for our team is the Healthwise Heroes. And so my mind started spinning, and I'm like, how cool would it be, since we're the heroes, we could have a retreat and talk about superpowers. And I'm like, this is all coming together. And so the whole premise of this book is to help each of us find what our superpowers are. And long story short, they're very different for every single one of us. But after I read that book, I realized that one of my superpowers is showing kindness through recognition and helping people see the greatness in themselves. And while most people would not write that on a list, like, this is how I'm going to become successful, because you can't really quantify that. You can't put a price tag. There's no numbers involved in that. But I really feel like fostering that idea that I can just pour into people like it is literally my job, and people feel that genuine love. It is not, it's not, it's not fake, but it's something that I do very purposefully because I know that it helps build people up. And that is my whole goal in life. So that led me on a year-long kind of research project of what does this look like to develop my own gifts? How can I make this come to life in my team? And then I found a book called The Power of Nice. And some of you may have read this. I think this is an older book, quite frankly. What I will tell you, the copyright date is, it's 2006. And the author of this one is Linda Kaplan Thaler and Robin Koval. And I just want to share with you, I have read this book a couple of times, and I have underlined and put stars by a bunch of things. There is a lot of good stuff in here, you guys, and you can see it's short. Like, you can read this in a day. This was one of my favorite little airplane reads that I could knock out on a quick flight. But let me just share with you this idea of like just pouring kindness and recognition out on people and what it does to us mentally. It says, feeling good lubricates mental efficiency, making people better at understanding information and using decision rules in complex judgments. Okay, and that was written by a psychologist named Daniel Goleman in Primal Leadership. Some of you have probably heard of Primal Leadership. So Goleman found that positive feelings in the workplace also make employees behave more ethically and function more cooperatively in teams. People seldom remember who gave the pithier speech in a business meeting, but they do remember who smiled more and who expressed concern for them. So I know that they're talking about workplace, okay? I translate all of that business information to our teams and how we can make that come to be in Young Living. The fact of the matter is, every single one of us that are growing a team, we get to dictate what the culture is of our team. And I am a big believer that if you want to attract more hardworking people, more kind people, more generous people, fill in the blank, whatever you want to attract, that is what we have to be more of. So I purposely am not a complainer, because guess what I don't want more of on my team? I don't want more complainers. I don't want infighting. And you know what? I don't have it. It's beautiful. We have the most amazing culture on our team, because if I ever pick up on an ounce of unkindness, I squash it. Because all I have to say is, we're the Healthways heroes. That's not how we do things. In fact, the LLC name for our team is Kind Leadership. Okay? That's the parent umbrella company over everything that our family does. And it is a powerful reminder when we get mail from our accountant and we get mail from, the IRS, and it's directed to Kind Leadership. And it just softens everything. So I've made my case for why recognition is so doggone important. And some of you might be thinking, well, Skylar, there's only a few things that we can recognize people for. So like, what are you doing all day? How does this actually look? So let me tell you, in about less than 10 minutes last night, I jotted down very, very quickly at least 15 reasons that we have as Young Living leaders to recognize people. Okay? And I'm going to challenge you to expand on this list, either in your notebook or in the chat box. I want to make this list even bigger. Okay, so here's what I came up with. You could recognize someone for attending a class. Okay, either in person or online. You can give them a shout out, or you can just send them a personal message and say, thank you so much for going to that class. Tell me what you loved about it. The fact that you saw them and you recognize that will make a huge imprint on them. You can recognize someone for enrolling. Welcome to the family. We're so glad you're here. I love it when people on our team do welcome posts for their newly enrolled members. How many of you guys do that on your team? Okay, I see a couple hands. Good, good. It's a wonderful way to do that. And here's a good analogy for you to think about. Our team Facebook groups, I want you to think of it as a party. A literal party happening in a home or in a hotel ballroom. And when you enroll someone, it's like you're taking them by the hand and you're walking them in the door to the party. And what you wouldn't do is you wouldn't be like, okay, go over there. I'm going to go talk to my friends and leave them on their own. You would bring them in and you would say, hey guys, I would love to introduce you to my new friend. And you help build those connections, because I guarantee you, the longer you are in Young Living, you are going to find out that you might not be the igniter fluid for every single person that you enroll, but somebody in your team will be. And you're a fool if you don't introduce them to everybody, because you don't know who's going to help them see the light and go, oh my gosh. In fact, I know I could list many examples of where I know this has happened. The person's enroller taught them a lot about the oils and the health, but it was someone completely different that helped them have the aha moment to the business. So bring your new people and introduce them to the group, because that will bless you in return, okay? Another reason to recognize someone, they sign up for Essential Rewards. Isn't that a great deal? And it gives an opportunity to talk about it. In fact, if you see somebody post, hey, I want to just say congratulations to Sarah, she signed up for ER. Someone else might say, I'm brand new, I don't know what ER is. Can you tell me? Oh my gosh, yes, I can. And so the more frequently people see that recognition, it normalizes it. And suddenly somebody that's been in the back of the room goes, okay, hang on. There have been 4 posts this week alone about people signing up for Essential Rewards. What is it? Why have I missed this? And you'll start that conversation. Okay. How about recognizing somebody when they share their first sample? Okay, now I realize it might be hard to be in their life close enough. You might not know that, but if you do, if a member has been asking you, I have somebody that wants to try lavender, what should I do? And you kind of coach them through that, and you show them where to get the little bottles or maybe the little sachets, and you know that they've done it, then by all means, give them a big pat on the back, because I think that is a huge step forward, okay? And maybe you have a little team challenge and you say, this week, friends, we are going to focus on sharing with new people. And I've even done things where I've asked people, I know it can be really weird and it would be hard to do right now, but I've asked people to take selfies with someone that they've given a sample to and have them hold up their little whatever they gave them and post that. And so you're normalizing that behavior, that these oils are not just for us to use, they are to be shared, okay? Now this is a huge one. when someone has hosted their first class? How many of you would be thrilled if you found out today that one of your members hosted their first class? What would you do? Would you throw a virtual party? Would you do a dance? You should, because that is multiplying your time. The ultimate dream here, you know, when I was first starting out, I was working hard, but I thought, man, I'm only one person. I can only go to one house a night. But what if two more people on my team caught the vision, and all of a sudden there were three of us teaching classes all at the same time? That would be amazing. So you want to definitely throw a party, okay, when you see that happening. What about if someone shares for the first time on a social media post? Now, this can also be a big deal for people, especially those that might be a little quieter or a little more reserved, to actually step out and say, oh my goodness, Sheer Lumet has changed my life. I will never be without this again. And they post a beautiful picture and they get people asking questions. Guys, we need to recognize and honor that that took a little bit of courage for them, perhaps. Coach them, you know, if there's something that they could have done to maybe improve the post, give them some positive feedback and a little bit of constructive criticism. We want to help set our people up for success. So be ever watchful if you can. And I know you can't see everybody's post. I certainly do not. But for those that we do, I try to give a lot of praise and a lot of feedback. Instagram stories, be part of them. First of all, it's an amazing way to get to know your people. Okay, I have loved developing a relationship with Bethany. She's on here. And I feel like because I engage in her Instagram stories, I know her better. And I know that she and I both have a very, I don't want to say destructive love relationship with coffee, but, but we love our new little, I'm giving us away, Bethany, our new little frother. And we can make these amazing drinks, and I have to limit myself because I'm a little excitable anyway. You don't want to see me on too much. But I would have never, ever known that about Bethany if I hadn't engaged in her stories with her. And she's a hoot, and she's super fun to watch. And so I look forward to that every day, just to see what's going to pop up next. Is it going to be dogs? Is it going to be coffee? Is it going to be oils? I don't know. And it's fun. So if you know you have team members that is their avenue of sharing, then I encourage you to be part of that, because it's a blessing both directions, but also it's really easy for me now when new members come and they say, I want to try to use Instagram stories, but I don't know how. I still feel like I'm a little bit of a klutz, but I can say, holy cow, go watch this account, because Bethany knows what she's doing. And so if I hadn't ever bothered to watch that, I wouldn't know. So that's another way that you can recognize and be part of a team member's life. Okay, this is a big one. Facebook Lives. They take a lot of guts, okay? Instagram and Facebook stories, they take less guts because they go away. But if you do a Facebook Live, I mean, you can always delete it, I guess, but they're there to stay. When you have a team member that musters up the courage, and you guys, I don't know about all of you, I don't know everybody on here, but doing a Facebook Live, if that is not your normal wheelhouse, that first time, it's scary. Or it can be. I don't want to plant that seed, but it can be a little intimidating. And So when you see someone do that, even if you invite them, jump on our team page. I always figure like the team page is safe, right? That's in the house. But still on our team page, we've got over 4,000 people. And so people still get nervous. They're like, oh, I don't want to do it on there. There's too many people. So when they do, I mean, that deserves a huge shout out. That deserves praise and recognition and a thank you card or whatever, okay? Here's an easy one. If you have someone on your team that hits a new rank, think about what you do. How do you adequately acknowledge your enthusiasm and your excitement? And you guys, if that does not get you fired up, you need to check your internal temperature, because it should. Remember what it felt like for you when you hit star, or when you hit senior star or executive. I still remember the night that we hit executive. I thought I was on top of the world. That was such an amazing feeling. We got the whole family, all 3 kids. We went out to eat, and I told the waiter, you guys, I was so excited. I'm like, we're celebrating. We just hit a really big rank in my company. and it was just like, I felt like it was a big deal. Okay. Now I don't even remember if my upline, I'm sure, did something, some kind of post. I don't remember it, but I know how it felt to me. Like, this feels like a really big deal. And so hold that thought for your members. When they hit star, it is a big deal to them. Even if you're diamond, remember what it felt like. Remember your roots, okay? Here's another huge, huge, huge one. I feel like the most important report that we should all be watching like a hawk is our first time enroller report. When someone enrolls their first member, do you want to reinforce that behavior? Do you want that repeated 100 times? Yes, please. And so think about, I don't know how many of you are parents. You could be parents of children or parents of puppies. I don't think cats are trainable personally, but maybe they are. But when you see a behavior that you want repeated, what do? You reinforce the heck out of it. Okay, I feel like I'm giving away all my secrets this morning. I have nothing to hide. Bethany, you're on the inner circle now, man. Lisa, you know all my madness. But here's the deal. If you want to see it again, reward it. It's like the most basic human psychology. Okay, I remember how important psychology was my freshman year of college. Those principles are what's making me millions of dollars now. It's so simple. We're not that complicated, you guys. We really aren't. We like to be rewarded, okay? And we'll do it again if it means we get rewarded again, okay? So when people enroll their first member, I believe that justifies a standing ovation of some sort. You figure out what that looks like to you. If that's a card in the mail, if it's a personal phone call. Let me tell you something. When you have a team of 5 people, a personal phone call might not feel like earth-shattering, okay? Especially when you know all 5. When you have a team of 4,000 and you call people, they're like, oh my gosh, I did not even know that you knew my phone number. Actually, yes, I know all of your phone numbers because they're in my virtual office, okay? But it is a really big deal to connect and let people know I see you. If all you hear this morning are those 3 words, write them down, emblazon them on your wall. I see you. That is what your team needs to know and believe about you, okay? That you see them both when they're succeeding and when they're hurting, and that you acknowledge both, okay? If you have a team member that earns the brand new silver bound bonus, that is also reason for much jubilation. Because again, like we talked about with Essential Rewards, it gives you talking points. So we had somebody last night on our team that hit executive, go Heather, and she earned the silver bound executive bonus. So she's going to get an extra $500 tacked onto her paycheck. That is a freaking huge deal. So when I did her recognition post, I put up a beautiful picture of her family, but then I also put up a reminder for everybody to see, hey, look, there's some pretty shiny carrots being hung here for those that rank up and have their structures set. Young Living is rewarding us very generously, okay? So make a big, big deal out of Silverbound. And here's a tip for you. There's an app called Oily Trends that my friend Trevor Nielsen created. And on Oily Trends, you can actually run a Silverbound report, and it will tell you everybody who is in alignment to qualify for that. And it will tell you when they hit it. Now, I haven't figured out a way to do that on Oily Tools or in the VO. If there is a way, somebody tell me, okay? I know you're preaching to the choir. I know that it's a pain in the rear when we have 17 different apps for all the things and they all have different monthly fees. It is not the ideal scenario. I know this, but here's what I'll tell you. If you don't have Oily Trends, talk to your upline and just keep going up and up. Somebody's got it. And just say, would you just let me know, is there anybody on my team that is set to qualify that I should be pouring into? My gosh, I'd be thrilled if somebody asked me that, because that would tell me that they're watching out for their people. Okay, so I'm not suggesting that you have to go subscribe to all the apps. I do like Oily Trends. Brian and I use it a lot, but don't do it until you're ready, okay? Okay, two more here. If you see somebody on your team that helps one of their team members teach a class, I feel like that's cause for celebration. That shows collaboration. It shows that they're invested in their team. And that is for sure the kind of thing that we want to perpetuate forever. And finally, the last one that I have on my list, and I know you can all come up with 100 more, I hope. If you see someone travel to an event for the first time, destination events change lives. I cannot say that enough. And I recognize that there aren't any right now, okay? But we're gonna watch this video again sometime when the world is turned back on, okay? But let me just tell you, going to things like convention, that's a non-negotiable. If you are building this business, convention is a non-negotiable. Right now, we have a digital ticket available for convention. Every single person on here ought to be participating in that because we can all do it from home. So just commit yourself and then start talking to your team about it with presumptive language that, well, of course you're going to go, right? I mean, it's convention, for heaven's sakes. And this year you don't even have to pay to travel. So yeah, we're all going to go together, okay? So that is a big deal. But even things like the On the Grow event, if you see one of those come to a city near you, oh my gosh, that event is outstanding. I went to one in Minneapolis last fall, and it was so well done. It was like a mini convention, and the speakers were amazing. I mean, the whole thing. They even brought Seed to Seal right up on stage, and they had people planting lavender. They had people tasting dirt. It was awesome, awesome. So anytime you see somebody travel to an event, they should be recognized for that, because that's a whole nother level of commitment. Okay, so type in the chat box if you have come up with some other reasons to recognize people. If you've thought of others, I would love to hear that. And I'm going to turn my page and we're going to talk about ways to recognize. This is where it becomes really fun. This is where you get to instill your creativity, your personality, your passion, and our recognition methods should not look the same because we are not the same. So I'm going to share some ideas, but you guys, these are not concrete like, oh, Skyla said it had to be one of these 15 ways. Oh, no. Okay. You, again, I'm sure you have 100 other ideas that are probably way cooler. So I'm just going to get the wheel started. So let's start out with something easy. A card in the mail. Okay. Super simple. You can go to Target or Walmart and get some generic little cards that you can use for anything, or you can purchase any number of pre-printed postcard kind of things. This one just says, welcome. These little bottles are about to rock your world. Okay, that's a bright colored thing. I love that it's blank on the back because if I give somebody a gift for enrolling, I might just drop it in the gift too and not actually mail it. You can use places like Vistaprint and you can make your own stationery. Okay, but let me caution you. Do not use all of your valuable income producing activity time creating custom stationery, or don't get lost going down that hole for a month and being like, oh gosh, I forgot to talk to people. I was so busy playing Office. Okay, so use what you have, use what's readily available. Here's another cool thing that I love. When I send out mail, not all the time, but sometimes, I love sticking in some surprises. So this is from Gabrielle Bernstein, and she wrote The Universe Has Your Back. And she has these amazing little affirmation cards. And so sometimes I'll just take out the cards and I'll just draw one and I'll be like, oh, Lisa's gonna get this one. And it says, I am the dreamer of my dream. Okay, super simple, but I love these things. You can use them for bookmarks. You can hang them on your wall. You can put them in a little frame, whatever you want. And sometimes it's just nice. So, so Gabby Bernstein has one. There's another set called Super Attractor. And they're just beautiful. They're pretty little cards. We did an abundance challenge in our group in March. Was that March, Bethany? I think. And I took pictures of 31 different cards, and each day was one of those cards for our affirmation for the day. Louise Hay is another one that has fun little cards. So these are the I Can Do It deck. And again, they're just kind of little positive affirmations. This one says the past is over. And on the back, it says, this is a new day, one that I have never lived before. I stay in the now and enjoy each and every moment. Okay, just kind of something simple that you can stick in with a thing. Okay, easiest, cheapest way you can recognize somebody is a Facebook post, either in the group or on their page. Okay, you can send someone a personal text. Do not underestimate the value of that. You can call someone. That feels really good to get a phone call for most people. Some people don't like phone calls. That's okay. You can send flowers. Okay, sometimes I do send flowers depending on the situation. And do not forget about recognizing things like babies being born and weddings happening and funerals happening. We want to show up in people's lives. So this is not strictly about you performing in Young Living in order to earn my attention. I do try to stay present in people's lives and remember those milestones, because that's when people recognize you as a human, right? Oh my gosh, she called me when my grandma passed away. Well, because I care about you, okay? You can put a product credit on someone's account. Let me just tell you about this. Oh, Jess, good question. No, we don't have a birthday report. But let me tell you, there's an easy way to do that. You can have a contest or something on your team page, and you can just create a Google form and say, I'm giving away a bottle of Clarity because it's within reach. And if you would like to answer these 3 questions: your name, your member number, and your birthday. Boom. It's not going to be everybody, but it'll be the people that are awake. So you can always come up with something like that, right? Okay. Let's talk about product credit, because this is a very easy way to acknowledge someone. And you don't have to mail anything. It does cost you money, but you can do any amount. Sometimes I've done $5, sometimes I've done $100. And you decide what needs to happen. Most recently, I did a post on our team page and asked for all of the essential healthcare workers to, comment. And I wanted to thank them and recognize them for being awesome. And I went through and I made a list, and there were, I don't know, 40 or so that commented, and I put $5 credit on each of their accounts, and basically said what I wanted to do was take you out for coffee, but I can't. And so please enjoy this extra $5. Think of it as a coupon for your next order, and save $5 and go get yourself a coffee from me. Okay, so you can think creatively. And what I did was I just followed up that whole list of 40 people. I texted them and sent a little thank you graphic so that they would know it was there. Okay, let's see, what else? Okay, this is really important, friends. You have no idea the power of your voice. So voice memos, and I'm not talking about a phone call, but on Facebook Messenger and on Instagram and on Snapchat, whatever you use, you can record a voice memo and send it, and they can hear your voice. Likewise, you can record a little video, and I do this all the time. My team is so sick of seeing my mug, I'm sure. But I love to send little, 15, 20-second videos to say, oh my gosh, you just enrolled your first member, congratulations. And they see the real you. I mean, I feel like that means a lot more than way to go, like just in writing. So try to ramp it up a notch and see what happens, because I think that they will like that. Marco Polo is also amazing for that. So whatever social media you use it. You can send a small homemade gift, like a custom roller. I like to put custom rollers together for the people that rank up on our team. And the only way that they can get it is by ranking up. So nobody knows what the recipe is. It's secret. And that's also super effective. We ran a promo 2 years ago, I think in December, and I formulated a recipe that I called Shine Bright, and it was only available in December. And I can't remember if it was only available to those who signed up for ER or those who enrolled someone, but you had to do something specific to get it. But once people started to get it, they were freaking out because it smelled so good. And they were like, how do I get another one of these? And I'm like, well, we'll have to run another promo, I guess, because I'm like zipped. I'm not giving out that recipe. Now, about a year later, I did share it with them because I'm not that mean, but it was really effective. So you got to create a little bit of FOMO sometimes in a playful way and make people earn it. What else? You can send an educational book or a flyer as a form of recognition. So I am certain that you've all discovered Life Science Publishers and Growing Healthy Homes, and they have so many inexpensive things like, okay, I'm just gonna grab the first one I can, but like this, right? This is Flourish, and this was actually a really, really good book that I used for a while on the PSK, and it's a bit outdated now, but the info is still good. But if somebody does something and you just want a small something to mail them, these are great, and they're pretty inexpensive. Let's see, what else? You can take them to lunch, okay? Do you know how important quality time is? If it's possible, right? Take them out and give them the most valuable resource that you have, which is yourself and your time. You can offer free coaching for that person or for their team. That's a beautiful way to pour into a group of people that it will come back to bless all of you, okay? You could put up a yard sign, surprise them. Have you ever had your yard flamingoed? That might be a new thing that I start for ranking up. I don't know. I think that'd be hilarious. Okay. You can throw a surprise party. Don't tell them what's going on. Maybe you invite them out for lunch and a bunch of their team is there. I promise you that they will never forget that. And last but not least, one of my favorite things that I've ever done, I sent someone a singing telegram. And a lady dressed up like a chicken showed up at this member's work and did the chicken dance. And that was possibly one of my most favorite recognition parties ever. So be creative. There's no limit, okay? And I would say this also, I've struggled with this a little bit, but I really do not think that it has to look exactly the same forever for all people. Okay, I think it's okay to be fluid and to know your members and to know for this member, I have a really deep relationship. It might look a little different for that, okay? Just like raising kids, things are never gonna be equal, right? Equal does not mean fair, whatever. I digress into parenting, but you know what I mean. So one of the easiest ways that I think we can visually recognize people is by making graphics. I love that avenue of creativity, but I don't necessarily want to spend hours and hours. So if you don't know about apps on your phone like WordSwag and Over and PicMonkey, Canva is one that I like to use, but I usually do Canva on my computer because it has the opportunity for more text. When I need to do like our team rank up graphics and there's a bunch of names, I like to do that one on the computer. I know that Canva has an app. I'm a little more klutzy on that one, but I love WordSwag. I always joke, I can whip out a graphic at a stoplight on WordSwag. Like it's that easy and it's that quick for me. So I'm not gonna take time right now to walk you through that, but I have a video somewhere. I'll see if I can dig that out and share it. But otherwise, just get on it and start playing around, or get on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Bethany. And yeah, you guys, if you have other ones that you like, do tell us, because I've never even heard of Unfold. I'm going to write that on my list. If you have other ones that we need to know about, please share. So, all right, so those were the 15 ways to recognize. I look forward to seeing your creativity get unleashed and for you to really take some time to be thoughtful about who on your team you can pour into and why. And I want to see how this happens. So stay in touch and let me know what you decide to do. But I thank you guys. This was a lot of fun, and keep tuning in. These Thriving Through Collaboration classes are amazing, and we will have more coming every day this week. So stay tuned to your Diamond Leaders page and you'll know which one is next. All right. Have a great day, friends.